Okay, so if you, say you become this terminal here, and you get quite trained, admin, tech, and you yourself get handled, case-wise, if you need handling, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing I'm doing. Now, what if you had 2 or 3 guys that were quite well off in their businesses and they had lots of staff? And yeah, you could be influencing tens of thousands of people. And all you have to do is from maybe 5 or 10 people on your lines, and like it trickles down. Guys, you're about trickle down economics, but this is trickle down Scientology. Because the technology is getting out there in the field. Once in a while, you'll see a soundbite on TV, or someone says something, that you know it's a Scientological concept. I've been noticing since President Nixon was in there. As soon as integrity processing came out, remember integrity processing? Yeah, there was a Scientologist on the staff. I think 2 or 3 people down, and right away Nixon was talking about integrity, using the word integrity. Of course, he didn't practice it. You got to practice this stuff in order for it to work. You can't be a couch potato Scientologist. You got to get it out there, and those people get it out there, and those people get it out there. I went to a family reunion a year or so ago, and my little nephews, they were younger at that time, but here are grown-ups, they're in their 30s, and they're telling me how much I affected them positively using Scientology, just talking to them throughout the years, right? And how their life went a lot better. Because I happened to spend a little time with them. See? Here's 20 years later, they're going, thanks, you really helped me out with Scientology and stuff. I didn't even know I had that much impact in their lives. That was a surprise thing. One of them's making movies now, and doing all kinds of stuff. Okay, so you got this concept. So just like when you're in the airport, and they say if there's no more oxygen, the oxygen thing comes down, and you're in a plane, and the oxygen thing comes down. They say put it on yourself first, right?
That's right.
Before you put it on your buddy or some child or whatever you're next to. Why?
Because if you don't make it, the other guy won't make it.
Right.
So you got to save yourself.
Because he's there struggling, you better put it on yourself so you can help him, right? Same thing with getting up the bridge yourself or getting yourself trained. There's a lot of ways to get trained. When I got trained, I was 22, college student, no money. Did I somehow pulled it off? I remember I was knocking at the door, at the mission holder's door, 10 in the morning. I want to come in. He goes, no, course starts at 7. I said, I just want to come in and study. So he let me come in his course room, and I'll be there all day long by myself studying. So, 1 to 10. What are you willing to attain? Let's see. What are you willing to do to attain your training? Put that at 1 to 10. I won't look at it. I won't get on you. You put 1. I got to do the same thing. See, I want more training. You always want more training, right? As soon as you think you know it all, you close the door to learning more. That's the first big barrier to study tech. You know it all, right? There's more to learn, believe me. We're doing a lot of research on LRH's technology before he even created the bridge. He felt it was too advanced. We're talking about 1952 materials on how to create a data clear. He felt it was too advanced and you needed to do this thing called the bridge. we did the bridge. So now we're doing data clearing. Okay, 1 to 10. The next question is, what are you willing to give up in order to get trained? What are you willing to give up, 1 to 10? Yeah, I went to my garage the other day. I saw a whole big box of movies that I seen. I was just going to give away. I mean, they're like, they must have been 30 movies in there. So I'm thinking, once in a while I do that. I'm thinking, I'm going, hour and a half a movie, average. 30 movies. You do the math. How many hours is that?
45.
Huh?
45 hours.
45 hours. How many courses could I have done in 45 hours? Yeah, think about that. That's just movies. What else do we do to kill time these days? Anybody here? What else? Anybody else kills time?
Surf the net.
We'll do it for surf the net. And you want a time killer? Surf the net. Well, you know, it gives us a little pleasure, right?
Why? It's learning.
I'm not talking about porn, but it gives us a little pleasure to look in there, see about garage sales or something like that, you know, or, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little porn either. If you're single. Your wife says okay. What are you willing to give up from 1 to 10? Say movies, surfing the net, games, right? Who here plays games? Who here is going to admit that they play games? All right. So you got to put that down, 1 to 10. You guys doing this, or you're afraid to do this? You doing it? The next thing is, the next question is, how or what changes are you willing to experience? See, because this is the happiness part. Because you're going to attain by giving up things. By say I'm willing to give up certain things. I'm willing to do certain things. What changes? What are you willing to have from 1 to 10 on your training? Because the first two questions are going to dictate how much this is going to be. Right? Say, all right, so in place of a movie every night, I'm going to study that 1 hour and a half. It's going to raise this up a little higher, isn't it? You don't have to give up movies, you can give up something else. But look what you're going to attain. You're going to attain the ability to do this, which is our goal. Better planet. Right. Now, I don't think too many people here can influence the guys on Wall Street other than attention or postulate or something like this, because none of us work here on Wall Street, right? Nobody works here on Wall Street. But we could influence, huh?
We can invest and make money with them.
That's right. Now I'm going to give you some, later on, today or tomorrow, some tips on how to circumvent the Wall Street guys. You know, I just simply don't play their game. I don't play it. I don't invest in them. What broker has ever said, sell? No, they always say buy, because they get money out there. Every time you buy, they get a little money out there, right? Percentage. They never say sell. You ever notice that? They never say sell. All right. Okay, that's your teachability index. How many people got a 10? Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
On what?
Impressed.
Altogether, you mean?
How many people got 5 or below?
I don't understand the question. Are you
We have an
asking
ethics officer here.
average? What are you asking for?
What?
Yes, an average.
Average?
Average, the 2.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what we were actually supposed to say.
We'll go over
Okay,
it.
I just listed things I would give up and not give up.
Yeah, then you're supposed to put, like, okay, I'm willing to give up certain things, and that's going to make me a 2, or that's going to make me an 8.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, because the goal is to get training, right?
Right, so it's a judgment call, really.
It's your judgment call. It's your life. It's your.
I see.
You got it? So if you use this index, then you can talk to the person and say, look, your trainability index is way down here. How are we going to get it higher? I mean, you come in here, yeah, you gave me some money for your course, but the course isn't going to happen if your trainability index is 2. You'd be wasting your time here, my time, and you know. Some guy came in and he wanted some sessions. His ability to get those sessions was like, I think it was a -1. I gave him back his $10,000. Yeah, 2 hours later, I gave him back his $10,000 in cash. How many here could use $10,000? Yeah. I could have used it too. I had 3 kids and a wife to support. But no, its trainability index was so low. It was just, it was a liability. The church has a way to do this too. I mean, if you have been in a psych ward, they say, oh, you're untrainable. What do they say about you're illegal? You're an illegal piece. If you work for the government, you're illegal. They don't even put you up on this thing here, right? They don't use this graph, but there's a way they do it. You know, there's a way they monitor it, right? Okay. So now I give you a tool. You can use it on your friends, or you can use it on yourself. Right? So you're going to put on some hard-earned money for a course. You better check your teachability index. See how much you're going to put into that. You know, there are only 3 or 5% people who do any sort of who go to any seminars. There's a real estate seminar, money-making seminar, and you ask the seminars, he'll tell you the same stat. 3 to 5% of the people that are there, I don't care if it's 200 people, actually do what the seminar says to do. They'll buy the big books, they'll buy all the tapes, they'll pay $250 for all the books and tapes and whatever, and they'll go home and they'll put it on the shelf. There was somebody, it was you, who was asking me at dinner last night, is it possible to get trained in the independent field? Is that possible? And of course the answer is yes. Trainability is 10. Right? But what does it take to train somebody? It's a group effort. It's a group dynamic. It takes a supervisor. It takes a word clearer. It takes an ethics officer. Sometimes I hold all the hats and it's just too much. We need other people to hold these hats. It's hard to be the auditor and the ethics officer as well. Because, you know, sometimes you got to be tough on the guy. Sometimes you got to take his little theta face and rub it on his stuff, you know. So I'm just, look what you're doing, you know. And then turn around and try to be the passionate, neutral auditor who really cares. Well, the ethics officer cares. Okay, it's a good way to read people too on this trainability. Because you can help them overcome the barriers. See, to teachabilities. You know, okay, I can't give up my movies every night. All right, now how are we going to work around that? Could you see your movies after course? Yes. Okay, there you go.
It just occurred to me that this goes along the line of the definition of incessiveness is you're interested in your own case and you're willing to talk to the auditor about it. So there's the scale fits right in there.
Yeah, how much interest? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to say one more thing about this, and we'll wait for Valerie to come back. Is that Hubbard actually said on the tape, he says, I can't believe I have to sell this stuff. Because this stuff's so great, people should just be coming in all the time, right? Well, you have to sell it, and he didn't, that's all he said about it, and he went on. But I figured that he has to sell it because if you give me $10,000 for 1 hour, am I going to have your attention? You want to get your money out of it, right? You want to get your money's worth out of it. You're gonna like listen to every word I say. I'm not saying I'm going to raise the price of the convention. I don't have to do that, right? So, see what I mean? So people do exchange with you, they're going to come in, they're not going to wrap it as easy, they're going to be interested in their case more. Now we had one guy, that was the trouble with Narconon. When I worked at Hollywood Narconon, there was this millionaire kid, they would send their kids over to us, trying to get them off cocaine or whatever they're on. But the kid didn't pay for it. Then he could care less. And they're the hardest. They're the hardest people to deal with. Narconon Hollywood at the time, I don't know if they're still in existence, but they were the toughest. It was the toughest thing to do, was to keep these guys on board because there was no exchange.
I like this because one of the things that you probably intended but didn't bring in, those people below are voters.
These guys? Yeah, definitely.
So if they start taking full responsibility, then you may have a different vote than full victimhood. The issue is the negativity, the negative reputation of the church. It's out there. So I think I practice this a little bit. I have staff. I have 60 staff, and I practice it through doing this, through communication, through management by statistics, through applying the tech secularly. But I work for a municipality, and you can't just come out and say, "Hey, read this book by LRH."
No. See, you don't want to do that at this level. Yeah. See, because otherwise you're selling LRH, you're selling Scientology, and either they're marching to the church or they're rebelling against you.
So I think that's
you have to do it. I'm not going to say covertly, apply the tech overtly, but yeah, don't get into selling. Not like Scientology. You don't have to. You don't have to. A person doesn't even have to believe that the technology works for it to work. I had a guy start Section 3 of the advanced course. He didn't believe it. I said, just run it, will you? And he ran it. And he started getting reads, and he started winning, and he started changing to the better. And he still didn't believe it. So it took about a week of him running the Section 3 of OT3. And then after a while, he's going, this stuff really works. So you don't have to, it's just, you're dealing with life force, which is you, and the mechanics of the mind. It doesn't matter. Your opinion is, your belief is your opinion, and it doesn't matter. If you're as-ising, if you're releasing the charge and getting rid of those things, it's going to work. All right? Same with admin or anything you apply down here to your people, it's going to work. You're changing the environment, right? Once in a while, a big thing would reach up to you and say, how'd you get to your position you're in? See? And then, of course, you can have a book or give them a session. We have stacks of books of Dianetics, Mind Science, Mental Health, and it's key time. You can have them. Someone gave it to me. I was going to college, somebody handed me the book. Here, I read this. It's a great book. I'm going to go there. Read it. Left college. Later on, I went back and got my degrees, but the thing is, I left college and I became an OT4, did the briefing course, set up my own mission. Then I went back to college and got my degrees. Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's give Valerie a hand and she's going to